One's ready. One's ready. Go!
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the One's Ready podcast. You're in the team room. This is your daily drop for the 22nd of April. So yesterday, and to give you a heads up about today as well, yesterday there was no news curated from public affairs and they didn't send it out. And it sounds like the person is on leave. So believe it or not, the info doesn't get put out when somebody's on leave. Don't ask me how that is or why that is, but whatever. So hopefully it'll return next week. But so that I don't leave you guys hanging, kind of what I've done is I've gone on, I've scoured the kind of social media and the news just to try and get just a glimpse of what is going on in the news that would be of interest to public affairs and really would be an interest of you or to you. So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, this is me scouring, so I don't know how relevant it actually is, but we'll give it a shot. Hey, we still have slots open for the Operator Training Summit coming up in 21-22 June in San Diego, La Jolla specifically. So it's a beautiful pool that we've got, and it's got a fantastic deep end. Like, this pool is awesome. It's the same place that Deep End Fitness San Diego trains at, or at least one of them anyway. And it's such a primo pool, and the campground looks fantastic. So if you are interested in it, leave a comment below and we'll get you added to the Signal chat, or not the Signal chat. Speaking of Signal chats, we'll talk about that here in a few. We'll get you added to the WhatsApp chat. And that's got all kinds of details and ways that you can secure your spot and that kind of stuff. We do still have slots available. But you know, these things close up fast. I think we've had 10 additional people sign up just in the last about 5 or 6 hours now. So, if you're interested, hit us up. And if it's not from, you know, on a comment on YouTube or something like that, then shoot me an email at jared@onesready.com. All right. Now the joint news. Hegseth security concerns. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is accused of sharing details of the U.S. strike in Yemen via a private Signal chat, raising questions about Pentagon security protocols. He dismissed the claims as leaks, but the incident fuels doubts about leadership and transparency. So this is not necessarily this one. There's allegedly another leak. However, the source is the reporters say that they've got the details, but it's from one anonymous source. So like, I don't know if it's true or not. And really, oh well, we'll find out. It's kind of weird to me that reporters would go in on something with one source who also says they're anonymous. But whatever. That's the world we live in these days, because it's not about who is right. It's about, or who is right and who is accurate, but it's about who can get it out there first. So it's unfortunate, but that's the way it works. Next, Philippines joint exercise. The U.S. is deploying 9,000 troops for joint drills with the Philippines from April 21st through May 9th. Framed as a defense rehearsal against China's South China Sea actions. Critics warn this escalation could strain diplomatic ties with Beijing. Yeah, I'd say so, but you know what? They do the same thing as we are doing. It's not necessarily saber rattling, but it is a way to go to almost a shot across somebody's bow and put them on notice, like, hey, dude, just so you know, we're ready, and I'm going to show you that you're ready because I know that you're watching us. So we're going to conduct these drills in the open where you can see us, so you know what we're capable of and you know that we're serious about it. And we're going to do it in your neck of the woods. That's we've been doing that for years. Next, the Insurrection Act deadline. The Pentagon faces a 90-day deadline to advise on invoking the Insurrection Act, potentially allowing troops to enforce civilian laws like migrant apprehensions. This move risks blurring military-civilian roles, sparking debate over its implications. We've talked about this before, and I don't remember the details off the top of my head, but the Insurrection Act has been used in the past several times. And it's a weird kind of thing. Like I'd have to hop on Google or Grok or something like that and have it explain to me the difference between the Insurrection Act and martial law, just to figure out, where all those lines are blurred and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm interested to see what the outcome of the Insurrection Act deadline is going to be. Next, Air Force specific news. New aircraft announcement. The Air Force unveiled a new aircraft touted by Trump and Hegseth as a modernization milestone, but sparse details invite skepticism about its significance. It's unclear if it's substantive advancement or political posturing. I'm not sure what aircraft this is that they're talking about. I know that we had talked about a new version of the SR-71, but I don't know if that's what the one that they are talking about here is. So that's kind of worthless for me to even read to you, so I apologize for it. Next, deportation flight controversy. A judge challenged the Air Force's role in Trump's deportation flights to El Salvador, questioning why orders to halt them were ignored. This highlights tensions over the military's involvement in immigration enforcement. Well, a judge, you're a district court judge. You have zero role over what the military does or does not do. You are not the commander in chief. Whoever the POTUS is, or the president of the United States is at the time, and the Secretary of Defense, and the Secretary of State, and the Vice President, and the House Armed Service Committee, are the ones that get to say what the military does and does not do in regards to policy, operations, and that kind of stuff. So to think that a judge or a district judge could tell the military what to do and what not to do is insane. So beat it, judge. Nobody cares what you think. European readiness focus. While specific new exercises are unreported, the Air Force likely continues training. The Air Force continues training like combat archer in the United Kingdom to counter threats like drones, maintaining operational readiness in Europe, and limited details such as low-profile approach. Yeah, we're going to keep doing exercises because whether it's Europe, Middle East, Pacific, South America, like we've got to stay ready and we've got to be operationally relevant. So training is what we do. That is the one thing that the military does better than anybody else, and it's training. And that's what these exercises help us do. They help us train, and especially with our allies and partners from other nations. Like, of course you've got to do that. So anyway, Space Force News Warfighting Doctrine released. The Space Force's new warfighting doctrine outlines defending U.S. satellites and targeting adversary systems, shifting from passive defense to offensive planning. This risks escalating space militarization amid tensions with China and Russia. Cool. Man, if you guys have been watching this enough as it is, you guys know that my input or opinion on the Space Force stuff is minimal because I just don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to Space Force stuff. The next Golden Dome project, SpaceX with Palantir and Unreal is a frontrunner to build Trump's Golden Dome missile shield, with the unconventional acquisition process raising concerns about favoritism toward Elon Musk. Well, okay, maybe there is some bias and favoritism towards Elon Musk. Name a country or name a company that is doing what SpaceX is doing, that has the same capabilities and capacity that SpaceX has. I mean, I'm sorry, Blue Origin, that you're too busy sending up Gail King and Katy Perry up to space and you're barely making it to space. I got it. I don't own a space company, so it's still impressive. So I'm not taking away from that, but Blue Origin can't do what SpaceX can do. So, and until somebody can come and challenge what SpaceX is able to do, why don't you shut the hell up? Meadowlands jammer testing. The Space Force's upgraded Meadowlands jammer with expanded frequency range is set for formal testing to disrupt enemy communications, enhancing counter space capabilities. Cool. The UK Civilian Exchange, a new US-UK civilian exchange program under AUKUS, I don't know what that is, fosters space domain expertise aiming to strengthen allied collaboration through hands-on professional development. Now, we do this on the active duty side of the house already. We do exchange programs with the UK, Australians, New Zealand, and several other countries, and they send folks over to us as well. So adding in the civilians, I think that's a good touch. All right, these are of interest. Trump's tariff impact. Trump's tariffs, ranging from 10% to 49%, are disrupting global economies, with companies like 3M cutting forecasts and the European Central Bank slashing rates to counter economic strain. China vows resolute countermeasures, accusing the U.S. of isolation tactics. Here's what's eye-opening to me is when you actually look at the tariff chart and you see the tariffs that other countries are leveraging on the U.S., and then we either match those less than them to counteract them, and now we're the bad guys. Please, someone in the comments, help me understand how that makes sense. Like, I don't get it. Why is it okay for them to do it, but it's not okay for us to do it? I don't understand. Ukraine peace talks falter. Trump threatens to abandon Ukraine peace efforts unless a deal is reached soon, as talks stall over NATO membership issues. A Russian missile striking, killing 34, called a mistake by Trump, underscores ongoing tensions. There is no way in hell we should allow Ukraine to join NATO at this moment. Like, that is, let the conflict end, however it works out, and then let's revisit the NATO membership thing, in my opinion. Iran nuclear talks. Iran and the U.S. are drafting a nuclear deal framework after progress in talks, but Trump's threats of military action if diplomacy fails cast uncertainty over long-term outcomes. Man, here's what we should do with Iran, in my opinion. I think we say they can't have any kind of nuclear framework that they design themselves or that they build, but instead, we give them nuclear stuff, and we give them these, modular nuclear reactors, and that way it's us giving them the material and giving them the capability for energy and power, but they are not able to refine the uranium to then create weapons. Like, I think that is probably the right answer. And it's going to cost us money, but is it better to cost us money and them have a new nuclear capability in terms of weapons? Or should we just allow them to have nuclear weapons? Like, Iran cannot have nuclear weapons because they are a loose cannon, and when you want a country wiped off of the face of the earth, like, and you have openly admitted it, like, you can't really have nuclear weapons at that point. You know what I mean? Pentagon official firing debate. The firing of the Pentagon official Dan Caldwell for exposing war with Iran has sparked X debates, with critics calling it a purge of dissent through unproven leak allegations cloud the narrative. I don't know anything about this at all in terms of detail. So the last thing, and that's not on this list, this is just rumor, and I promise you, I've actually been trying to get truth data on this, but something about the new chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Raisin Cane, some people are saying that he has canceled or removed, quote unquote, removed the SEAC position, the senior enlisted advisor to the chairman position. Another others that I've seen has said that he just hasn't renewed the person that's currently in the seat. He hasn't renewed him to stay on, so he will then retire, which means he would bring somebody else on. Like, so I'm having problems getting the truth down on it. I do find it hard to believe that he would say I don't need a SEAC anymore, so we're going to dissolve the position. Like, knowing Raisin Cane, I don't see him saying that or doing that, but I could be wrong. So anyway, that's the news. Sorry it's not as in detailed or as in depth as other ones that we've had, but I'm doing all the research myself while I'm at work. So there you go. All right, we're out here. Later.